Most people think motivation drives success. If you take your passion and turn it into a profession, you'll never work. Not every mission goes the way you hope, but if you keep showing up, the mission will find you. I was like any other kid that went to an air show and saw for the first time the Blue Angels. And like every other young person that sees the Blue Angels, it's that awe. I was like, wow, how do they do this? This would be a dream to become a Blue Angel. How do you learn to be that good? And that's something that I thought I could actualize. But as my career moved on and I was a young lieutenant, the opportunity came up to apply. I met the applicant standards that they needed with so many hours, so much time in the Navy. And I always approached it as, I'll apply and I'm prepared for the worst, which is no, we don't need your services. So unfortunately, I wasn't chosen. So that was a bit of a disappointment. But it's sort of, it's like I was prepared for that and said, okay, I can say I tried. I tried. But then later in my career, I became more senior, more time in the F-18. I was probably the highest F-18 experienced pilot when I applied for the Blue Angels again. And unfortunately, I did not get picked again. And disappointment, one door closed and another opened. And somebody said to me, hey, they're looking for a new commanding officer. In fact, they want an F-18 pilot, not an F-14 person. What's the worst thing they can say? No, we don't need your services again, Tom Trotter. But I said, what the heck, I'll apply for that. Lo and behold, they said, hey, are you ready to become the 20th Commanding Officer of TOPGUN? So that door opened, and in many ways, the Top Gun job prepared me more for everything that followed. The dream that I had from, the Blue Angels and posters that were up in my room, and just thinking about what that would be like, having flown the F-18 a lot. I actually got a flight with the Blue Angels at one point with one of the lead solos, an old friend of mine. And I discovered on that flight that, oh no, this is not what us ordinary naval aviators go out and do in our F-18s. It's a different game. It's way up here, and that gap between what we do in the Navy on a day-to-day basis in flying formation versus what the Blue Angels do are markedly different. Again, positive pivot, one door closes, the other opens up, and you stay determined throughout. Kind of a reinventing of myself. The thing that I didn't achieve taught me a lot. When I reflect back on my naval career, what I really reflect upon are the relationships with other people. What sort of impact was I able to make on other people's lives? Particularly as you start going, up through an organization, how impactful are you to other people? How have I changed their lives in a positive way? What have they been able to accomplish with a little bit of what I gave to them while they were within my care? And I think that's the thing that, we should reflect on is what sort of an impact are we making to others in their lives in the pursuit of their dreams, not necessarily your own. How have you empowered other people? And so I look back now on what have these other individuals achieved as a result, perhaps, of the relationship that we had earlier on in my career. I think that's a powerful thing. How are we enabling others to achieve great things? Most people think that motivation drives success. And being motivated, that is a great quality. But I don't think it's something that's in some cases sustainable. If you're committed and you're motivated, that's a good combination. We go through emotions on a daily basis, and you see this on the internet, the euphoria of that 10-second hit. That's sort of that, oh, that was funny, that made me feel good, but it's only temporary. But we need to look to our inner self to say, what's motivating us? What's making us tick? What excites us? What gets you really going on a daily basis? And that might be found right within your own community, It might be a voluntary effort. It might be helping somebody else. It's something that we can do with gratitude. The feedback you're going to get, what will sustain you, is not just I'm motivated in the moment. Rather, I'm committed for the long run. I'm committed over the course of what I'm here to accomplish. And I think that's what we're missing these days. We're always looking for this instant satisfaction through this little device. So have you noticed you go in a restaurant and people are not actually talking to each other much? They're looking into their phone. They're looking for answers in here to everything. What's going on in the world? Who's connecting to me? Who thinks I'm interesting? Instead of looking within your own self and finding that self-motivation and the commitment to get you to where you're hoping to be, where actualizing your dreams, actualizing your potential, instead of a 30-second hit on this. So I think it's something that these devices have drawn us away from how we really accomplish something. And that's with our inner self. And that sense of satisfaction and gratitude that we can achieve in accomplishing things with other people, for other people, and making the world a little better place. So that's something to think about every day. I always think about what kind thing can I do on a daily basis for somebody else? I think if everybody lived their life that way, it'd be a whole lot better place. And sometimes we start out one place and we end up another. Everyone should stop and think to themselves, am I doing something I love? Is this my passion? If you take your passion and turn it into a profession, you'll never work. You'll so enjoy what you're doing. Your level of achievement will just keep going up by virtue of you getting better at what you do. And so I think if we all were to stop and say, are my reps getting me where I'm expecting or hoping to go? Are they in line with the dreams? Am I realizing the level of effort that I'm putting out? And sometimes it's rather futile. It's that squirrel that's on the wheel and goes round and round, and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. And that might be a time where we pivot. We go to a different pursuit. Change your career. Go into some unknown area. Because sometimes we'll just stumble on something that we're really good at. You're not passionate about something, it's a good chance you're not going to conquer it or achieve at the level that you hope to. So again, passion and profession, if you can link those two, it's a powerful thought. It will become pretty easy after a while to be successful in that pursuit. You've got to be disciplined in just about everything that you do. Now, I was watching NBA championship game, and the thing that I pulled out of that interview with their superstar that was the MVP was his discipline. You know, you've got to be motivated. Let's just say that motivation has got to be that internal get you going. But that pursuit is discipline. It's a disciplined approach to that getting up early and getting going and giving it your best effort every day, having a plan to help you achieve that. And it's just interesting that a young man would do that so quickly in his career and achieve it at the world-class level. But it was always within teammates, bringing them into that alignment with him and having them all go into that same belief level. I thought it was fascinating that it's no different than what we saw on the carrier in completing a mission, or the Blue Angels doing what they do, or an NBA team. How do you do that? It's through discipline, dedication, and then you've got to stay motivated, even when life gives you, some sour grapes along the way and you stumble. But it's a matter of getting back up and getting going all over again. So it's fascinating how a disciplined approach to just about anything that we do, whether it's our work or sport or family relationship. It's a disciplined with an energetic approach. And again, the gratitude. I heard nothing but gratitude come out, with this big win that the Thunder had. So it was fascinating. It's very similar to just about what any organization would want, with that discipline coupled with highly motivated individuals.